Higher resolution has been the focus of dashcams for years, but what if the bigger upgrade isn't more pixels, but it's simply seeing more of what's happening around your car? That's the idea behind the Vantrue E360. Instead of sticking with a standard front-facing camera, it records a 5.2K stitched panoramic video using two ultra-wide lenses. So after spending some time testing it on the road and going through all of its features, today we're going to show how well that panoramic recording actually works, and whether it gives you a real advantage over a regular dashcam. So let's get started. So let's unbox it. Inside we get the dash cam, an adhesive windshield mount, a car charger, a power cable, and the basic tools needed for installation. Well, one thing I want to mention, depending on which bundle you choose, you can also get optional accessories like the rear camera, hardwire kit, LTE module, or the handheld battery mount. The first thing we noticed wasn't the accessories, but the camera itself. It has a different shape than most traditional dash cams, mainly because it's designed to handle more than just front-facing recording. One thing worth mentioning is that not every feature comes in the standard package. If you only need a basic dash cam, the included accessories are enough to get started. Okay, now if we talk about its design, we were actually surprised by how compact it is. Considering everything this camera offers, we expected something much larger. Instead, it takes up very little windshield space, which is definitely a plus since a bulky dash cam can become distracting. The touchscreen is quite big, around 1.54 inches, and it works well for basic navigation. Now, once you understand the layout, moving through the menus feels straightforward enough. Swiping down opens the main menu, swiping up brings up quick settings, and left or right switches between camera views. Another nice touch is the voice control. The hardwire kit keeps the camera powered when the car is parked, while the LTE module adds remote connectivity so you can take advantage of features that simply aren't available with the standard power cable. Well, this is really the feature that made us want to test the E360 in the first place. Vantrue calls it a 5.2K stitched panoramic video, and honestly, we were curious whether this was actually useful or just another feature that sounds good on the box. Here's what's going on. Instead of relying on a single camera, the E360 uses two 210-degree fisheye lenses, one facing forward and one facing the cabin. The camera then takes both views and automatically stitches them into one single video. The nice part is that you don't have to combine anything later. Once you copy the footage off the camera, it's already saved as one regular MP4 file. After trying it ourselves, we'd say the stitching is quite clean. Most of the time, you don't even think about where one lens ends and the other begins. If something passes very close to the camera or right through the stitching area, you can occasionally spot a little distortion, but that's pretty normal for this type of camera, and wasn't something we noticed very often. What we found more useful than the resolution itself is the extra coverage. Because each lens captures 210 degrees, the camera can see around areas that are usually hidden by your A-pillars or other blind spots. Now, if you don't always want the stitched panoramic view, you've got options. You can switch to dual fisheye if you'd rather keep both lenses separate, or Panoviz if that view works better for what you're recording. And if you're using the handheld mode, you can also swap between 360-degree, landscape, and portrait views, which makes the camera surprisingly flexible outside the car as well. There is one thing to keep in mind though. Since that resolution is covering such a huge field of view, don't expect every corner of the image to have the same level of detail as a dedicated 4K front camera that's only recording one direction. As soon as the camera gets power, it automatically starts recording. We've installed the hardwire kit. Now we can also set up parking monitoring. There are several recording options. The more interesting mode, though, is handheld record mode. Twist the camera off the windshield, attach it to the battery grip, and now it works more like a portable action camera. We could see this being useful if we're documenting a road trip, walking around a campsite, checking a vehicle after an accident, or even recording quick travel clips without carrying another camera. We can switch between different viewing modes depending on what we're trying to capture. There's the full 360-degree view, the 5.2K stitched panoramic mode, dual fisheye, Panoviz, plus landscape and portrait orientations. One thing we also appreciated is that we don't have to keep reaching for the screen. Voice commands work here too, and they were generally reliable during our testing. So is the Vantrue E360 worth it? We'd say yes if wider coverage matters more than squeezing every bit of detail out of a single front-facing view. But yeah, the 5.2K Panoramic mode won't beat the sharpest dedicated 4K dash cams, but it captures a lot more of what's happening around your vehicle. At around $299, it's already competitive, and with the current discount bringing it down to $249.99, it's an even better value. Whether that's useful really depends on how you plan to use it. If you mainly want a traditional dash cam, you may not touch it very often, but for road trips, camping, or recording outside the vehicle, it does add some extra flexibility. Alright, that was our look at the Vantrue E360. Thanks for watching, and as always, let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you found this review helpful, don't forget to share it with someone who might be looking for their next dash cam.